Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Tuesday. It's September 17th. It is 2024. We have a 10-game MLB slate to talk about here on today's podcast. Joined today by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, what's happening, my friend?
Nothing much, brother. Doing good. Obviously, if you guys haven't realized, we're recording this show during Monday Night Football again, so should be an interesting time. Should be an interesting slate. I actually like the slate, Stevie, going into a Tuesday, so let's see if we can help the people also like it and put a few dollars into their pockets.
Hey, we need an Arizona win to complete the 3-pick parlay. We're 2 out of 3 legs of the Monday Morning Grind 3-pick parlay, so we're an Arizona money line away from starting the week with a nice little banger there. So hopefully that can happen. Detmers and 2 of my 3 lineups tonight for DFS. Awful. My other lineup had Palante, who absolutely crushed, but the bats are doing absolutely nothing in that lineup. So it's just going to be one of those nights. So I'm hoping the 3-pick parlay hits. Have a couple NFL bets. Need like one more catch from Devontae to hit his prop that I bet, and need a Bijan anytime touchdown to hit. And it'll be a good night for me if those happen. So we'll see. Like you said, we're going to sweat a little bit of Monday Night Football. What's up, chat? Richie, Derek, Yeezy, Dave. The regulars hanging out here on Tuesday night. We love to see it. And mute those TVs. Watch it in the background. But let's talk some baseball. It's time to get back in this baseball talk, and really good slate again. I mean, we talked about the good pitching slate that we had on Monday, and another really strong pitching slate from my first look at it when I was looking at it about an hour ago. So, Will, we got 10 games. Let's jump in. We get started here. Washington at New York facing the Mets, 7.5 total. Mets a 165 favorite. We got Parker and McGill facing off against each other. Any interest here in Mitchell Parker?
No.
Feel like that was a very quick no. I guess I have a little bit more interest in you. The problem is like JD being back. Now you're going through the middle of that lineup with like JD, Alonso, Vientos, those 3 righties. Alvarez is good against lefties. So like I hear you on the quick no. In this ballpark, he's like fringy for me today. Like I think he's okay. I don't think he is the best pitcher on the slate. But, I mean, he's a 21% K rate guy. He could go out and get 5 to 6 strikeouts in this matchup, throw 6 or more innings. He's done that in 3 of his last 5 starts. He's had at least 5 strikeouts now in 7 straight starts. So the pitch count is the thing. If he gets into trouble, they're very quick to pull him after like 70 pitches. So you're hoping that he's pitching really well. He has a Mets team that's pretty patient. So I get the quick no. Little bit more like slight interest than you do. And then overall, McGill 7,700 getting Washington in Citi Field. I mean, big favorite. I think he's okay as well. They're not like my favorite 2 pitchers on this slate, but I could see both of them limiting the damage and doing well. McGill actually has like a 26.8% strikeout rate. So he actually has some strikeout stuff where on the other side, you're not getting as much upside with strikeouts as from Parker.
Yeah, I'm just okay with McGill. I actually wish he was Parker's price. I know that's just $400, but the closer to 7K, I would have felt fantastic about that. But McGill's just okay, Steve. He's not a primary for me, though. He's more like a last pitcher in for me. Rather than someone I am, readily trying to get in.
Moving on to the bats. Any interest here in the Washington bats?
I'm not really. I don't want to play Washington today. I've got some other teams that I like way more.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're like MMEing and you want to like one-off Wood, like he's just 5,300 now. Like he's shown good power, and I mean, but he's been up since July and he has 7 home runs. So we're like 2 months now. I feel like if he was maybe at like 12, 13, 14 home runs and, was getting the home runs at a much higher clip, maybe. Like, I do think James Wood has a lot of potential. I really do. But the flip side of that, like, he's expensive as a one-off. Like, I don't want to play anybody else. The ballpark kind of stinks. He strikes out a lot. He's facing a strikeout pitcher. I just don't see a lot here. And I mean, on the Mets side, it's those three righties that I talked about. Like, if you want to make a little three-man of JD, Pete Alonso, Vientos, be my guest. Obviously Lindor is banged up right now. He has been excellent against left-handed pitching this season. But yeah, I mean, JD, Alonso, Vientos, those are the three that I think you're looking at here for the Mets. And all three of them are under 5K. So don't hate the little three-man stack with the Mets here.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Lindor should be back soon. He said he only expected to be out a few days, right, Stevie? I think it was maybe 3 to 5 or something like that. So he should be back before the week is out, which will be good for this lineup. I'm with you, perfectly fine with JD. When you look at his price, he's 4,600. Alonso's 4,900. Vientos 4,700. If you want to get Alvarez in there, perfectly fine. Like I think that's enough here, against Mitchell Parker. Maybe these guys help to also run the pitch count up on them, Stevie, by maybe working them 5 to 8 pitches up during the count, and also maybe getting on base to extend those outings, to extend the inning. Excuse me. That's another reason I'm not really thrilled about Parker today, but I'm definitely okay with those Mets righties.
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday, and we'll talk about it over the next week and a half. Playoff time right around the corner. Mets 5 games up on the Cubs right now. So Lindor is a solid 2 or 3 losses away from coming back. they have to lose some games for them to rush Lindor back. They want him healthy for that wild card game because, I mean, technically they could potentially move up a little bit in the wild card, but it's not likely at this point. So, yeah. I mean, have the Phillies clinched? I don't know if they've clinched. I think it's very close. I think they need 1 or 2 more wins. Moving on, we got Oakland at Chicago taking on the Cubs, 8.5 total in this game. Cubs a 160 favorite. Mitch Spence, Jordan Wicks. Any interest here in Mitch Spence?
No, Stevie. I mean, these fringe pitchers today for me are just I don't really want to play these guys. Spence to me is no different than Mitchell Parker, so I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, we have really, or I have noticed a lot that his cutter that he has is very good against lefties. It generates a lot of strikeouts, but it doesn't cut sometimes. And I don't know if he's he gets hit hard. He has good strikeout potential. I think Mitch Spence is someone this offseason that maybe develops his pitches a little bit more, puts in a lot of work this offseason. Mitch Spence is someone that I feel like we might actually talk about playing quite a bit next year. So I don't like this spot for him. The Cubs were one of my favorite stacks on yesterday's slate or Monday's slate, whenever you're listening to the podcast. And I think that this is just one of those spots where you're probably not playing Mitch Spence and probably going back to the bats for the Cubs. Jordan Wicks, other side, Oakland gets another lefty. They strike out against lefties, but they also have, 6 or 7 hitters that hit lefties very hard. What are we doing with Jordan Wicks here?
Well, for all that talk about Jordan Wicks not giving up home runs, Stevie, lo and behold, he gives up 4 in the Dodgers game, and it came back to bite him swiftly, Stevie. And I don't really want to play Wicks here. I don't think this is the spot, even against Oakland. I'm going to fade.
Yeah, I'll say this. Ever since he's come back, so he's made 3 starts since he's come back. He pitched on the 1st, the 6th, and the 11th. Ever since he's come back, his command has not been great. And they absolutely gave him a ton of run support in the game against Washington, where they scored 14 runs, and he just kind of cruised through that game. But man, he has not been pitching good. So yeah, doesn't look like wind's going to be a huge factor in this game overall. and I don't see Jordan Wicks being a factor in this game overall. I actually kind of like some Oakland bats more than anything else here. I think that going back to the well on like Roker, Bangaliers, Cameron hit in the 6-hole today for Oakland. He has power against lefties, and he's 3,200. So G-Loft 3,400 hit 5th. I mean, I could see myself using Oakland as a mini stack today. I think they have a lot of upside in this spot.
Yeah, man, for sure. Love Langoliers here. I just think G-Loft, I'm perfectly fine with him. As long as he cracks the lineup. Obviously, we'll have some strikeouts, but definitely we'll have some power to go with it there. Oakland's just a cheap team, right? Stevie Schoonem is there. Do you think they lead off with Butler today? I don't think they lead off with
They led off with Wilson on Monday against the lefty. I assume Wilson leads off again.
Yeah, and that's what I think too. And then Butler probably gets pinch hit late at some point. So I'm with you there, Cameron 3,200. So once again, I think this team is just really cheap to be in a matchup against a below average pitcher. So I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, cheap Wilson 2,400. Listen, I think Oakland's just a really solid secondary stack today, and I like the Cubs again. I'm going back to the well. Like I said, Mitch Spence has some strikeout stuff, but man, his command and his stuff doesn't always work, and I think he's going to develop into a pretty solid pitcher. His underlining stats definitely suggest that he has some upside as being a pretty solid pitcher. But yeah, Bellinger, fly ball guy against ground ball pitcher. Happ, a fly ball guy. Suzuki, a fly ball guy. Bush, a fly ball guy. I could see playing the Cubs again today.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Look, man, Belly at 5K, expensive, but okay. You got Happ here, something him 4,500, like that price. I'm in there. They've been, Swanson has been in this interesting spot, Steve, where they've moved him a little closer to the top of the lineup in some of these games. So even though righty at 4,200, I'm okay with that. I think the Cubs are cheap enough also against the marginal pitcher, Stevie. So at home, a team that has some talented hitters, I'm perfectly fine, plugging them in.
Detroit at Kansas City, 8 total in this game. Kansas City, a 175 favorite. Casey Mize against Cole Reagans. Any interest here in Casey Mize?
No.
Yeah, I mean, a pitcher that just came back from injury. Detroit's right on the brink. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. They're a team to watch over the next week or so because they're right on the brink. They're right behind Minnesota. They're right above Seattle. They're right above Boston. So they are obviously a team to pay attention to. But if he gets into any kind of trouble, they're going to yank him. I mean, they did it in his last start against the Rockies. He got in some trouble in that start, and they yanked him at 66 pitches. So it's not that time of the year anymore where, if a pitcher's struggling, they might let him go and, try to figure it out. It's playoff time, baby. Every game matters right now, especially for this team. This is a huge series in general for both of these teams. I mean, they're competing with each other for playoff spot. And right now in the top of the ninth, Detroit's up 7-6 on Kansas City. It would be a huge sweep for Detroit if they were able to sweep Kansas City in this series. So any sign of trouble, I feel like he's going to get yanked. I love Cole Reagans today. Yeah, you think about the good hitters in the Detroit lineup, and they're all left-handed. Except for Vierling. I'll give Vierling a pass. I think he's solid. This just seems like a fantastic spot today for Cole Reagans, and he's one of my favorite pitchers on the slate.
Yes, Steven, this is what I'm talking about, which is why I don't even want to buy into some of these fringe guys. We've got some 9K pitchers in tough spots. Don't get me wrong. But Cole Reagans is the primary, I think, spin today. 9,800, man. I don't think there's a better spot for a pitcher on this slate in the upper tier. Love Reagans today. Absolutely the guy for me. I don't care what happened with Lugo in the previous slate. And you guys can blame me for Lugo. I'll take the credit for that because I already knew Lugo was going to go out there and fail today. Here's why. He goes out against Cleveland and these other good offenses and just puts on a master class. And I said, we get Lugo against Detroit today. take him on the pick'em sites over fantasy points. Of course, he flops. It's all my fault. So don't worry. Don't blame him. Blame your good, friendly neighborhood chief, and we will move on. I don't think this happens with Cole Reagans. He should get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Manaea, Skeens, Palante, and Detmers was like probably one of my favorite pitchers on the slate. And Detmers went what? I think he was like -5 last time I checked or something like that. So I will say I did really like pound home my Andre Palante take on Monday's podcast, and he absolutely destroyed the Pirates tonight. So I hope somebody takes something down with Palante, because my Palante team, the batters are just doing trash. So I hope somebody took my Palante take and did something with it, because I did not. So I love hate when I get those kind of things right. Like you get it right, he's a great pivot, and like he just didn't do his thing, man. I mean, yeah. Or he did his thing. My bats that in that lineup did not do the thing. I think it's a Manaea Palante team, so like it was a solid pitching combo, but the bats just struggling. Anyway, bats. Any interest in Detroit bats?
Negative.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of interest in Detroit. And then on the Kansas City side, Mize, since coming back, his strikeouts have been a little bit better, but man, this guy's still giving up a ton of power. I feel like Witt, Perez, Massey, Renfroe, Melendez. Kansas City is on my list today for sure. I think that they're definitely a team you want to play some bats from if you're playing multiple teams today.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're looking at Perez here at 4,600, a guy that obviously historically has been a pretty good hitter. Tommy Pham's come to this lineup, Stevie. He's cheap, and he's been hitting fine, right? Like, everything's pointing to him hitting fine. They've got so many cheap outfielders. Renfroe, Melendez, who else are they going to throw in there? Bobby Witt is their big spin at 6,500, but you can get him, Stevie, because everybody else is cheap. DeYoung, Garcia, Massey. I mean, it's just such a cheap team. So I like Kansas City, man. A great deal. Like them a great deal.
Great drive by the Eagles, like a 10-minute drive. Good touchdown by. Oh, he might be down. It was close. Saquon there. I hope he scored and we can just move on to the Falcons getting the ball and we can get some passing yards out of the Falcons. That'd be great. Yeah, looks like he scored.
Yeah, I would love. What's that?
No, go ahead. I was letting you.
I would love for that to happen, Stevie, for what it's worth.
Oh, he actually short. He looks short.
Well, hand it to him again.
Well, it wasn't. It was a throw, but he is going to be down. He's going to be down at like the 1 yard line or 1 inch line. It's going to be the push. It's going to be a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. So
I needed 2 more carries. I need 2 more carries from him for the game, Stevie. For the game.
Well, I mean, you might get there. I don't think they're gonna score, and then yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But you get what I'm saying, man. I need some carries, man.
You need like a false start here or something. You need a false start or something. But I mean, they're in the tush push. I mean, it's coming. For sure. Philadelphia at Milwaukee, 7.5 total. Philly, a 150 favorite. Zach Wheeler, Frankie Montas. Any interest here in Zach Wheeler?
I do have interest, Stevie. I know he's facing Milwaukee. Milwaukee's been a good team, but clearly Wheeler, one of the better pitchers on this slate. Borderline matchup proof, Stevie. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying he's close. He could put up big numbers against any team. So for me, I'm in on Zach Wheeler. So, give me all the Zach Wheeler you can handle. I think he's one of the best pitchers on the slate. I think Reagans has the best matchup, but I do think Wheeler's the best pitcher, and I'm going to play him.
Yeah, just a discount too for like Reagans over Wheeler makes Reagans a little bit more appealing in the matchup and stuff. Do you get? I wonder if it counts as a carry if it's a 2-point conversion carry, because he just got a carry for a 2-point conversion. So
I don't think so.
I don't know how that works for carries for.
Yeah, I don't think they count it.
Yeah, they're saying he didn't get it, but it looked like he got it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I like Zach Wheeler just consistently just striking people out all season. Zach Wheeler's just having a Zach Wheeler season. You know, when he first got in the league with the Mets, I thought he was one of the best pitchers in baseball. And yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything otherwise to see. I mean, 6 innings now in what, almost 10 straight games?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like
it's
8 straight,
unbelievable.
9 straight. Like he's just pitching really well. Milwaukee's a tough matchup. Don't get me wrong. I like the Brewers a lot in general, but yeah, I mean, he's just been fantastic. He neutralizes some of the right-handed power in this lineup because he's so good against righties. They don't have a ton of left-handed power in this lineup. They have a lot of fast lefties, but yeah, I mean, I think overall this is one of those spots you're definitely looking at Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
What are the Diamondbacks doing right now? They are not hitting against the Colorado bullpen, and it is so tilting. Montas on the other side. Listen, I don't like playing Frankie Montas. I know he's been pitching well recently, but the matchups have been kind of favorable for him. This is a terrible spot for him. He really struggled with lefty power, and they have 2 really, really good lefty power bats right at the top of this order.
Yeah, for sure. Are the strikeouts real, Stevie? We will find out. I don't plan on playing Montas in DFS, but I do plan on maybe attacking the strikeout prop if we can get it at, let's say, 4.5, Stevie. Probably comes in at 5.5 just based on how he's been pitching recently. If we get it 4.5, I will be biting, but I'm not playing him in DFS.
Yeah, I'm not playing him. I like Schwarber, Harper, Stott, Marsh, Cal Stevenson if he's out there. Little Cal Stevenson, Marsh wraparound stack. Little 8-9-1-3 type of stack. Like, I like Philly. They have some cheap bats potentially in this lineup. Stevenson's 2,200. He has some speed as well. So yeah, I mean, I like this spot for Philadelphia.
Yep.
Any interest here in the Milwaukee bats?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm okay with Philly. I'm not playing anybody from Milwaukee, man. I just against Wheeler, Stevie. I just don't see the upside. I just don't see it. So I'm out.
And Johnson in chat says Zach Wheeler on the road is vulnerable. Listen, I hate home road splits most of the time. Like, there's obviously sometimes you're going to get like some extreme splits. His home road splits, though, not as drastic this year as years past. I mean, he's kind of put that to bed this year. He's been very similar as far as like stats are concerned.
At Miami recently, at Atlanta, at Arizona, at Seattle, at Minnesota, at Chicago. I mean, he got touched up at Baltimore, but remember, Stevie, like we say, every pitcher is going to get touched up. At Boston, who's much better against righties. At San Francisco, at Miami, again, got touched up in Miami, but you know, at LA, at Cincinnati. Generally speaking, Zach Wheeler's probably a Cy Young candidate and might actually win this thing. He's been that good.
He's had a great year. And like, listen, home road splits, every split and stat matters at some point, right? Every stat and split matters at some point. But I mean, I'm just not like, people talk about home road splits in like basketball. I'm like, yeah, maybe you play better when you sleep in your own bed, I guess. I mean, that's the argument I guess you can make. Pittsburgh at St. Louis, 8 total. St. Louis, a 145 favorite. We got Faulkner against Lynn. Any interest here in Bailey Faulkner?
Okay, I have no interest in Bailey Faulkner, Stevie. Zilch.
Yeah, pitched really well last time out against Miami. Congrats. You pitched well against Miami. Good job. Listen, I will say this. The St. Louis Cardinals against left-handed pitching this season, not great. There is that to be said. But Faulkner is a below-average strikeout pitcher at best. I mean, that is even stretching a little bit. He's not good. He's 16% strikeouts. Not playing him today. The other side, Lance Lynn. I mean, if O'Neal Cruz continues to be out of this lineup and misses this game at 7,500, I don't think Lance Lynn's a terrible option. I could see him getting you like 18 to 22 if O'Neal Cruz doesn't play.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. See, this is the other reason why I wasn't thrilled about trying to get in Marsh. Is it Marsh? No, Marsh is
Mitchell
that,
Parker.
yeah,
You're
Mitchell.
thinking Mitchell Parker.
Sorry. Yeah. Mitch Parker. Lynn against Pittsburgh, I feel like is a much better matchup. And so, look, man, I'm not saying Lance Lynn is elite. He just got back. I get it. But I do think, this is a guy that could limit an offense that, could easily, flop here. So I'm fine with Lynn at 7,500.
Any interest in the Pittsburgh Bats?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Reynolds is 5K. If you end up in that range and you want to one off him, sure, he's good. Any interest in the Cardinals here?
I do have some interest in the Cardinals, Stevie. Pages, Pedro Pages at the bottom of this lineup, 2,700. I feel like he's the guy that we should have on cheap catcher alert today. We've got Goldschmidt at 4K. Maybe Luken Baker cracks the lineup at 3,200. He's a guy that I think we should be interested in. You got Arenado, Stevie, at 3,500, who's also cheap. Win at 3,800. He's cheap. Walker will probably get crack the lineup today at 3,100. They should have him in the lineup. This is going to be a very cheap lineup in a spot that they could be able to hit around below average pitcher Bailey Falter. I like St. Louis today on the cheap end.
Yeah, I mean, I like Win a lot, like Arenado. Yeah, St. Louis, another one of those cheap stacks. We talked about Oakland being a cheap secondary stack. St. Louis is another one of those mini stacks that I like today. You worry about a little bit of pinch hit risk because like Newt Bar would be on layaway. Donovan potentially doesn't crack the lineup and he would be in there. So like you worry a little bit about Baker, like potentially getting pinch hit for. You almost worry a little bit about Walker getting pinch hit for. So I think there's a little bit of pinch hit risk here. If they do their thing against Faulkner and they're up, maybe they get one extra at bat. But the pinch hit risk is the only thing that I will bring up as far as like St. Louis is concerned.
Yeah.
Toronto at Texas, 8 total. Texas a 142 favorite. We got Chris Bassett against Nathan Eovaldi. Any interest here in Chris Bassett?
Oh man, Stevie, I just feel like Bassett's he's just such a roller coaster ride. He could get you 20, Stevie. He could also get you 12. I don't think I'm going to play Bassett today, but if people decide to, good luck. I'm not playing him.
Yeah, I'm not playing Bassett today. I mean, Corey Seager being out of this lineup definitely helps any pitcher facing this team. But and like Bassett has shown a little bit of upside recently. So like, I mean, I guess there's a little bit here more, like a little bit more here than like instantly crossing him off. Blue Jays are getting to the point where they're not playing for anything anymore. I don't know. I guess they still have like an outside shot to make it, but yeah, I mean, overall, I probably don't end up getting to Bassett today. And Eovaldi, like, gosh, man, I am on the fence. I honestly, I was thinking about this pre-show. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. I am on the fence when it comes to Nathan Eovaldi today. I keep looking at this matchup going, Toronto has more lefties in the lineup now. They can get a little bit more lefty-handed heavy. Does he do enough against the righties to make him playable? I mean, Eovaldi on the season, 24.7% Ks against righties, 5% walk rate, 265 WOBA, 60% ground balls, basically. Just, yeah, I mean, I just don't know what to do with Eovaldi at this price. I could see him scoring 30 or 15 or 5.
Look, man. I mean, he's going to see his fair share of righties. Also at the bottom of this lineup, Stevie, we've seen a few more strikeouts at 9,200. you know, maybe you play it. I think you play it because he does have upside, Stevie, but he's not a primary play for me.
Yeah, like he is such a fringe play for me today. Like he's such a fringy play. He's been really good against righties basically all season, and I just worry that like maybe he's a lineup guy. Like let's see what this lineup looks like. They have a lot more lefties in this potential lineup now. They called up Nathan Lukes recently. He could hit towards the top of the order. So let's. I think you wait and see what the lineup looks like for Eovaldi. 4 or 5 lefties. I'm probably out. 5, 6 righties. It's very, very questionable for me on him. So just questionable. Interest in the Toronto bats here?
Nah, man. I respect enough Eovaldi. I don't like this game, Stevie. You know what I mean? Like this game in general, this is a weird one. I don't think I'll play the Toronto bats. I'll probably play a couple Texas bats. I don't think I get to Toronto today.
Yeah, I mean, if they hit Nathan Luke's leadoff, I think he's a great value play. He has 15 hits and 42 at bats since getting called up. 5 of those have been extra base hits. He has a stolen base, and if they hit him leadoff, he's 3,100. I don't necessarily want to pick on like Eovaldi like stack, but it's hard to overlook a leadoff hitter that. I mean, he's been hitting. I mean, even over the weekend against Cardinals, he hit in every game that he played. 5 hits in 14 at bats over the weekend. So yeah, if he hits leadoff, I definitely think he's someone you want to take some shots on as a value play here. Any interest in the Texas bats?
Yeah, I do have some interest. Obviously, we do know about Bassett's struggles that's been documented here. Heim has not hit the ball well recently, Stevie, or not with any real consistency this season, but he's 3,200, so I'm okay with that. We've got Nate Lowe at 3,400, who's going to be a lefty that we can get in there. I also don't mind the righties, so I'm not trying to write them off like guys like Jung, et cetera. But look, man, these lefties here should be some good players that we can get in. Josh Smith is 4K. He's a guy that I've deployed a little bit this season, so I think we can round up some of those bats and plug them in for sure.
Well, Barkley just got you 1 carry. So, flag. Just kidding. All right, moving on. We're going to Coors, Arizona at Colorado.
Like, 11. Man, just get the 2 carries so this thing can be over.
11.5 total in this one. Arizona 160 favorite. Jordan Montgomery, Ryan Feltner facing off against each other. One of the most tilting baseball games ever. Arizona tied Colorado 2-2 right here on Monday night. Just so tilting. Any interest here in Jordan Montgomery?
No, I haven't played Jordan Montgomery all year, and so I don't plan to start today.
I mean, he has not been. Listen, I understand that like he's had some injuries and stuff, but man, just he hasn't thrown more than 60 pitches in his last 3 outings. He hasn't been throwing good pitches. So yeah, not doing it here on Montgomery, and definitely not doing it on Feltner here. Not against the Cardinals. I know, or the Diamondbacks. Listen, I'm going to do that a lot over the next 2 weeks, everybody, just so you know. With football being back, Arizona always messes me up. Anyway, any interest in Feltner?
Of course not.
You had me there for a second. Arizona bats, what do you like here for Arizona?
Look, man, I think this is a team, you're talking about a guy in Feltner. Obviously, Stevie, Feltner hasn't been the worst pitcher on the season, but this is a tough spot for him against a fairly low strikeout Arizona team, right? You're going to see Jock Peterson today at 4,900. You'll see Corbin Carroll, who, obviously probably hasn't had the season that we all had hoped, but definitely got a little bit better down the stretch. You'll see Ketel Marte. You'll see Walker. You'll see some Josh Bell, who has helped this team, and you'll see Del Castillo. But, Stevie, this team is expensive, and so if you want to get to them, you have to decide that you want to play them. Obviously, I know this is a good spot for them. I'm not thrilled about the pricing at Coors, but I think you should play him. Now, whether or not I'm going to play him, Stevie, is the question. But they definitely need to get played if you like the game. This is a good spot for this team.
They're so expensive. I mean, I like the spot. Obviously, I feel like the spot is fantastic. I like the spot, but I hate the pricing. Arizona is very expensive in the spot. They're very, very expensive. So that's the one downside that I'll say is just the price point for Arizona is tough. They're going to be tough to stack today unless you get some cheap bats in this lineup. And like even like Pavin Smith was in there. I assume that he'll be in there again. He's 3,600. He helps the overall stack. But I mean, Marino caught, that's 3,600. So if he catches again, because they're not going to DH these guys. Jock's going to DH. So whoever catches a catch. I think you just got your second carry from Sanders there, so you should be good. So Colorado side, listen, Montgomery's been, I think the right term is bad.
Oh yeah, he's been bad.
Like
So
I
bad.
like Doyle and Tovar, Rogers, Toglia,
Rogers.
Goodman. Like the only problem is like Arizona bullpen. They are kind of middle of the road. They have been a lot worse recently. That's one of the downfalls to Arizona is their bullpen has kind of been worse. They're not going to let Jordan Montgomery ruin this game for them. They need to win games right now. So like that's the one thing that like they could get to the bullpen really early here for Colorado, and then you're playing these righties at these high price tags against right-handed pitching, and you don't like them as much. So that is what I'll say as far as Colorado. But yeah, I mean, definitely like them a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm perfectly fine. You talked about Toglia. Obviously, I think Rogers is the guy, man. I like low strikeout bats, Stevie. And so, Rogers would be a guy for me that I would hope could get there. Tovar would be fine. Obviously, we know that they've got Doyle. And some of those guys are expensive, but like I'm okay with it against a pitcher that has been, just not good this season, Stevie, in Jordan Montgomery.
All right. Moving on, we got White Sox at Angels, everybody's favorite game from Monday night. We got Martin going up against Canning, 8.5 total. Angels a 165 favorite. Any interest here in Davis Martin?
Negative. Not even against the Angels.
Yeah. I mean 6,500 again. Like Arizona's expensive. I'm going to say the same thing I said about Jonathan Cannon on Monday's slate. And I think Jonathan Cannon has like 5 strikeouts last time I checked. Angels lineup is atrocious. They are very bad. And Davis Martin in a small sample size this year has actually pitched better against lefties than he has righties. And they have some bad lefties in this lineup. If Moniak sits again, that's one less bat that you're worried about. But, the Angels are rolling out a AAA lineup right now. Their lineup, if you look at it, I think 2 or 3 of these guys were in the opening day lineup. Like, it's the same scenario from Cannon on Monday's slate. I think you could take some shots on Martin. Like, more of a tournament play, obviously. Derek in chat says Cannon's up to 6Ks. I think Martin can get you 15 to 20 against this Angels team. They're that bad. I think he's okay. I do. I really do. I think he's okay. Like he's shown some strikeout ability this year. I could see him getting 5 to 7 strikeouts. I think he's okay. The real question is on the other side of this game, are you playing any Griffin Canning against the White Sox?
I don't want to play him either, Stevie, but he's cheaper than all these guys, and he's 6K. I think I'm more willing to roll out Griffin Canning than anybody else, and it's mainly because of the price. That's all.
Martin hasn't done what this season, Derek or Johnson? He has 4 to 6 strikeouts in almost every start except for 1 or 2, and he scored 16, 19, 13. Like He's right in that range I just said. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, the White Sox are the worst offense in baseball. Griffin Canning, 6K. Sign me up. I know what just happened. Listen, sometimes you don't have it sometimes, right? You just don't. The stuff is just not there sometimes. And you couldn't have been more excited about playing Detmers today when you looked at this lineup. They had 7 righties. He has 38% strikeout rate over righties over the last month, 26% on the season. And the lineup had a 63 ISO, a 245 WOBA, and a 24.4% strikeout rate. Like, you couldn't have been more excited for Detmers, and it just didn't work out. Like, it's baseball. Baseball has a high variance. I love that. Like, my 2 main sports in DFS and betting are the 2 of the highest variance sports, right? It's baseball and NASCAR. So
And NASCAR, yep.
Yeah, fun stuff, right? Bats. Anything on the White Sox bats that you want to play against Canning?
No, Stevie, this game is awful. It's an awful game. I mean, it's so bad. So yeah, I'm not playing anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like Benintendi is 3.2K. If you want to one off him, sure, I guess. De La Roche is 2.4K. He's been awful, but he's 2.4K. Yeah, I mean, he should hit leadoff. So leadoff hitter at 2.4K. Why not take a shot? It's Griffin Canning. He's bad against lefties, but yeah. Anything on the Angels side?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing. They're a AAA lineup. They're awful. All right, we got New York at Seattle. Hill against Woo, 7 total. Yankees a 120 favorite, slight favorite here. Any interest here in Luis Hill?
Oh, plenty, Stevie. This is one of the reasons why I don't really want to, be trying to figure out which one of these cheap guys is going to get it done. And I'm not saying Hill has been spectacular, but in this matchup against Seattle, we've got a shot here, right? Like, this is a chance for him to come out and demonstrate, Stevie, some actual upside. So I like Hill here. I think it's a good spot for him, and I plan to have him in lineups today at 8,800.
I can't believe we lost our 3-pick parlay because Arizona lost to the Rockies. Oh, what a tilting loss. Sorry, everybody. I thought we looked really good on that one. I like Hill as well. Going up against Seattle, a lot of strikeout upside in this matchup. Yeah. Brian Wu on the other side, 8,600 against the Yankees. I can't do that.
Yep, not at all. Not at all.
The way the game ended, too. So I'm not watching the baseball game. Someone in chat maybe watching the game. But it says it was a force out to second base throwing error. So Perdomo, they tried to turn a double play and Perdomo threw the ball into the dugout, I guess. Oh, my gosh. That's even worse. Double play. We got a runner on. Oh, man. Anyway, gosh. How do you lose a game 101? Canning, 7 strikeouts through 5 innings. That's solid. Any interest in the Yankees bats here?
Man, listen, Stevie. They're in Seattle. This ballpark isn't great. I know Wu is I think Wu is a solid pitcher, Stevie. So I'm not thrilled about the Yankees, but if you ask me to play Juan Soto, I'm in. If you want me to play some Aaron Judge, I'm in. I don't want to stack the Yankees, though. I think this is more of a one-off team for me today, Stevie, not a full stack here.
He's been giving up a lot of home runs, but outside of that, he doesn't typically get blown up. Even with the home runs, he's only allowed over 3 earned runs one time in his last 7 starts. So I would target home run power, Judge, Soto, Stanton, but I'm not stacking them. And I have no interest in the Seattle bats in this spot.
Negative.
All right, finish out the slate. Houston at San Diego, 7 total. Pick'em game, slight favorite to San Diego. Hunter Brown going up against Michael King. Any interest here in Hunter Brown?
Not today, Stevie. Brown has been good. Obviously, I feel like good pitchers can get it done against anybody. Like we've seen Brown be good against Baltimore, against Kansas City, against Cincinnati. So this is not me saying, against Boston. This is not me saying Brown can't come out and pitch well against San Diego. This is just me saying it's a really tough spot for him. Really low strikeout team. And I think the price is fair for his production for the season, but I'm not taking a chance against San Diego. I'd rather just bump up my my Reagan's exposure if I'm going to get into the 9K range.
Yeah, Hunter Brown's been really solid this year. This lineup just doesn't strike out. I mean, they've done it all year. They've been one of the lowest strikeout teams in baseball all year. Just not doing it. Michael King on the other side, I mean, he struggles with like power lefties. That's like his biggest downfall. Really good against righties. I mean, probably benefits him a little bit in this matchup because this lineup is still pretty right-handed heavy. But I mean, the two lefties that you have to get out are Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. I feel like this game's just a cross-off overall for me. There's so many good pitchers on the slate. There's so many good bats on the slate. Like, do you have interest here in Michael King?
No. And I'm kind of with you, Stevie. Like I said, this game, it's like the mix between good pitching, good hitting, and the middle ground where they both limit each other enough for us to not see real upside. And that's how I feel about this whole game in general.
Do you have any interest here in bats for Houston?
Either Tucker or Alvarez one off, but I mean that's about as close as I'll get, Steven. To be honest, about the same thing with San Diego, right? Like, it would have to be a one-off of a Tatis or, a Machado, lefties with power, or Cronenworth, something like that. But I'm not stacking either of these teams.
Yeah, I'm not playing bats from this game. There's so many good bats. There's so many good spots on the slate. Like, I mean, if this game beats me, it beats me. I'm not doing it. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts going straight into the morning grind game here. Who do you got?
Oh man, I actually think there's a guy, and I'm gonna go against myself and Stevie. I'm gonna go with Lance Lynn against Pittsburgh, but I don't feel the best about it. But I do think he's got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a shot too. Wow, they threw the ball on 3rd and 3 with 1:42 to go, and they threw the ball incomplete pass. Atlanta's gonna get the ball back.
Kick a field goal and then just keep throwing it to Drake London for a change and give Bijan one carry to get like a 3rd and 1 or something quickly and spike the ball. Oh, Stevie, could it break our way?
The Saquon dropped it. I mean, that's just a plain drop.
Stevie, could this happen? Could they go score a touchdown and go for 2 on the road because these stupid coaches do this, right?
They're up by 6. They score a touchdown. They're going to kick an extra point and win by 1. What are you talking about?
No.
6-point game.
No, Steve, you're missing my whole point. You're missing my whole point. Coaches should do this all the time. In these, like, coaches just go for 2 for no reason sometimes. Like, they say, oh yeah, it's the right time to go for it, but then they're down later in the game when that 1 point could have helped them. Anyway, I was being like borderline analytic sarcastic. Sorry about that. Just
okay. You like threw me off. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I was being analytic, and I'm all about the analytics, Stevie. But like I don't know if you've seen it, but like late in the game, a team goes down, I was like touchdown, and they don't kick an extra point. They go for 2, they don't get it. The other team goes and kicks a field goal, and then they're down like 5. It's like, well,
yeah,
you still need a touchdown. Like, what are you doing?
There's 1:40 left in the game. If Atlanta somehow drives down the field, they're going to kick the extra point and win the game by 1.
Of course.
I was like, what are you all right. Yeah, all right. Back to the morning grind game now that Will has me all messed up. I am going to take McGill to get 6 or more strikeouts today. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
Stevie, I think we've got some candidates. It's a tough one for me today. I think I'm going to go Hunter Brown against San Diego because of the low strikeouts. I don't feel great about it. The right answer is probably Chris Bassett, but I am going to go Brown. I think San Diego really limits him today in terms of strikeouts, which I think hurts his upside.
I'm going to go Woo. I think this is a really tough spot for Woo. Give me Woo not to get over 15 today. Over 4K to hit a home run. Who do you got to hit a home run today?
I was stuck between two guys, Stevie. Obviously, I'm not. Obviously, we're not going to Coors. I think I'm right here. Give me Cody Bellinger against Mr. Spence.
All right, Cody Bellinger for a home run. Big play from Mooney. They're already down within the 40. Like, they just had two giant chunks right there. Kirk Cousins.
But it's Mooney. We need.
I need Drake London.
Drake London. I need like this. Yeah. I don't understand. Let's talk about this after the show because I don't understand what Atlanta's doing.
We'll talk about it after the show. Mooney touchdown. Oh, Mooney to the 12. Not even going to get my yards out of Drake London at this point. So hope I can get a Bijan touchdown. All right, my home run today is Brent Roker. Sorry, got distracted. Brent Roker to hit a home run at 5,600 is my home run pick today. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who do you got today?
I think we got a lot of options here, Stevie, but I think my favorite team with all these cheat guys is be in St. Louis, Stevie, and it's going to be against Mr. Falter. Watch this. This guy is under 4K. Give me Nolan Arenado, 3,900.
I'm going to stay in the same game and go Win. I like Win a lot, hitting leadoff today. Like the spot for him. So give me Win to get 2 or more hits. Sorry. Distracted by the troll in chat saying my parlay is not hit. That's the guy that posts all the time in comments when it doesn't hit and never says anything when it hits. Way ahead, by the way, on 3-pick parlays for the morning grind. Just saying. Are they going to score too fast? Is the question. Because
I want them to, please.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like pass interference. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who do you got?
I think we got a lot of options today, Stevie. Going with someone, I don't want to call them off the beaten path because I did talk about this team already. I'm staying in a game where they're cheap. Give me none other than the St. Louis Cardinals for more than 6 runs.
Cardinals. I like it. I can get behind the Cardinals scoring some runs here.
Cheap and going against Falter. Love it.
Yeah, Drake London touchdown. So
really?
Yeah, Drake London touchdown.
Did he actually hit his targets? I think he missed it by 1. Yep, he missed it by 1.
Now you're hoping for like a block extra point. They might have scored too fast. They might have given Hurts too much time here.
Steve, if we get extra point or a miss, it's going to be pandemonium.
Oh. Anyway, like the morning grind game has been like derailed by the end of this football game. Oh, he got a penalty too. Oh man, unsportsmanlike conduct. So that's just a bad penalty. So anyway, well, that's a come on, man. They celebrate all the time. They gave him a celebration penalty. Like, anyway. Sorry, I've totally lost my train of thought. Stack to score 6 or more runs today. Give me... Oh, man. I like a lot of spots today. Give me the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs. They made the extra point, by the way, Will. Cubbies to get 6 or more runs. Player props or pick 'em plays. Any player props or pick 'em plays that you like? Sorry, I was derailed by this football game. Anyway, You have any props or pick 'em plays you like today?
I'm checking on Montas because that was one I had some interest in, but it's 5.5, Stevie. So I think I'm going to stay away from the 5.5. And I figured that's about where he would be considering the matchup. Lance Lynn is at 4.5, Stevie, and you can get him at 3.5 for around minus 148. I don't like the juice, but I like the line. I think that's what I'm willing to take, Stevie, in a matchup against Pittsburgh. You're getting. I think this is one where you can ladder. So I know we hadn't talked about that a lot, Stevie, but I think I'd actually ladder this. Where you're getting 3.5 at minus 148. You're getting 4.5 upwards of plus 115, plus 110 mostly, and then you can probably get 5.5. I don't know. I'd say maybe plus, I don't know, 150, 160, something like that. Like I'd probably ladder this one up to 5.5, Steve. I like this one quite a bit today.
Yeah, I mean, I was really excited about Nick Pivetta. His strikeout prop, it's 6.5. I was hoping we'd get it at 5.5. I'm tempted. I wish it was a little bit cheaper or a little bit lower. So I don't know. There's not like any prop that's like jumping off the page to me value wise. So probably not going to bet anything right now as far as props. Any other bets you like today?
Oh man, let me go back here, Steve, because I was looking at the money line stuff while we were doing it. We've got, this is interesting to me. This game isn't on the slate, but you're getting Boston with Pivetta versus the Rays at minus 115 against Shane Baz.
I don't understand game. That one. What are we doing? I don't.
Yeah. I don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I feel like that's the best play on the board, Stevie. I mean, that's got to be so close.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of my 3-pick parlay. I mean, like, I know we didn't talk about that game, but like that game is silly to me, like price wise. I don't understand. Pivetta against Baz is a pick 'em. Have you seen the Rays lineup? Like, it is not good at all. It's just rough scene just in general there. 3-pick parlay is the Red Sox money line that Will just talked about. I included that in my 3-pick parlay. I know that we didn't talk about that game, but Nick Pivetta going up in that matchup, it just seems like one that I want to jump on. I like St. Louis money line as well. So my 3-pick parlay today is a 3-pick money line parlay. So I have Red Sox, St. Louis, and Kansas City 3-pick parlay today for plus 440. And that's what I'm going to roll with. I like those 3 money lines. I like those 3 teams. We didn't talk about the Red Sox and Rays, but I mean, it just seems silly to me to get a pick 'em on the money line in that game. And then I'll pay the 135 for the Cardinals and the 160 for the Royals. Those are the 3 teams I'm going to go with here. I think Jalen Hurts just threw a pick. He did.
Yep.
Falcons are going to come back and win this game. That is
unbelievable.
Whatever they just did on that last drive with Kirk Cousins is what they need to do, because that drive was incredible. Let him do his thing. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Hope everyone has a fantastic Tuesday. We're back Wednesday talking baseball. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you then.